In the long shadow of American history, some of the most powerful stories are not written in books or carved into monuments. They are quietly carried in pockets, drawers, and forgotten jars. Tonight on Rare Coins Info, we open a chapter that few people ever truly notice: 3 Eisenhower dollars, 3 Denver mint marks, and 3 moments frozen in metal. These coins were born in an era of Cold War tension, space exploration, and national pride. They passed through ordinary hands, bought coffee, paid tolls, and disappeared into circulation. Yet decades later, collectors across the United States are searching for them with intensity and emotion. Because these are not just dollar coins, they are witnesses to history. Each scratch is a memory, each worn edge a journey, and each design detail a coded message left by the mint. The 1972 D. Eisenhower Dollar, the 1974 D. Eisenhower Dollar, and the 1978 D. Eisenhower Dollar appear similar at first glance, yet beneath the surface, they tell very different stories. Stories of rarity, survival, and hidden numismatic importance. Stories shaped by minting pressure, metal flow, and human touch. Tonight we slow time down. We study weight, thickness, diameter, and condition. Like historians examining national relics, we reveal how professional grading by PCGS and NGC can transform overlooked metal into documented history, and why even a used coin can still command respect, power, and fascination. Stay with Rare Coins Info, because what you are about to discover may forever change how you look at the dollar coins resting quietly in your home, and this journey into rarity, mystery, and American legacy is only just beginning. 1972. D. Eisenhower Dollar on Rare Coins Info. We begin this chapter not with metal, but with a moment in American memory. The early 1970s. A nation balancing pride and uncertainty, Vietnam fading, the moon landing still fresh, and the image of Dwight D. Eisenhower standing as a symbol of strength, leadership, and unity. When the Eisenhower dollar entered circulation, it was never meant to become a treasure. It was designed to be spent, handled, and forgotten. Yet the 1972 D. Eisenhower dollar quietly became one of the most discussed modern dollar coins among advanced collectors, especially when examined through the lens of rarity, die varieties, condition sensitivity, and professional grading. The 1972 D. Eisenhower dollar was struck at the Denver Mint, a facility known for high output and strong strikes. This coin carries the Denver Mint mark, a small D beneath Eisenhower's neck on the obverse, but that tiny letter would later become a key part of its identity. The obverse features a bold portrait of President Dwight D. Eisenhower, his expression calm, resolute, and dignified, while the reverse displays an eagle landing on the moon, clutching an olive branch, with Earth visible in the distance, a direct tribute to the Apollo space program, making this coin both a presidential memorial and a space-age artifact. From a technical numismatic standpoint, the 1972 D. Eisenhower dollar is composed of copper-nickel-clad layers bonded over a pure copper core. It weighs approximately 22.68 grams. Its diameter measures 38.1 millimeters, making it one of the largest circulating coins in modern United States history, and its thickness is roughly 2.58 millimeters. These specifications gave the coin a heavy authoritative presence in the hand, a feeling many Americans remember, yet size alone does not create rarity, story does. Most 1972 D. Eisenhower dollars entered circulation and experienced heavy use, edges bumped, surfaces marked, luster dulled, and high points flattened. In used condition, collectors typically see wear on Eisenhower's cheekbone, jawline, and hair details, while the reverse shows softness on the eagle's breast feathers and wingtips. However, used condition does not mean unimportant. In fact, circulation wear often helps confirm originality. A key factor when professional grading companies like PCGS and NGC evaluate authenticity and surface integrity. What separates the legendary 1972 D. Eisenhower dollar from ordinary examples lies in subtle strike characteristics and die preparation differences. Advanced collectors know that 1972 Eisenhower dollars are famous for multiple reverse varieties, particularly differences in the depiction of Earth, although the most famous varieties are associated with the Philadelphia Mint. Denver examples with exceptional strike definition and rare die pairings have generated intense interest. When these coins display unusually sharp relief, strong lettering, minimal contact marks, and original surfaces, even in circulated condition. They stand out dramatically in population reports. PCGS and NGC play a crucial role in this transformation. From coin to artifact, grading is not simply about wear, it is about balance, strike quality, surface preservation, eye appeal, and originality. A used 1972 D Eisenhower dollar that shows honest circulation wear but avoids cleaning, polishing, or damage can still achieve a respected grade. Once encapsulated by PCGS or NGC, the coin gains market credibility, protection, and visibility, opening the door to elite auctions and private collector networks. Now comes the moment that captures attention across the United States: collecting community. Certain rare examples of the 1972 D Eisenhower dollar, tied to exceptional strike quality, extremely low population counts, and strong historical demand, have been associated with values reaching as high as $5 million. This is not about every coin. This is about the rare survivor, the coin that escaped heavy damage, the coin that retained its story intact, the coin that tells experts something unusual happened during its creation. Collectors often ask how such a value is even possible. The answer lies in convergence. Rarity meets demand, condition meets authenticity, and history meets documentation. When a coin is graded by PCGS or NGC, tracked in census reports, and confirmed as one of only a handful in its category, competition among collectors intensifies. Museums, private investors, and registry set builders push prices upward, and suddenly, a $1 coin becomes a national talking point. If you believe you own a 1972 D Eisenhower dollar with unusual sharpness, strong detail, or minimal damage, the first step is never to clean it. Cleaning permanently destroys numismatic value. Instead, the coin should be carefully stored and submitted to a professional grading service. PCGS and NGC are the gold standard. Once graded, the selling path becomes clear. High-value Eisenhower dollars should be offered through major auction houses, such as Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers, or through reputable private dealers affiliated with PCGS and NGC. These platforms provide global exposure, secure transactions, and expert marketing. As we pause in this story, consider how many Eisenhower dollars were dismissed as bulky, inconvenient coins, how many were spent without a second glance, and how few survived with the characteristics that create legends. This is why coin collecting is not just a hobby. It is preservation, it is discovery, and it is patience. If this story changed how you see the 1972 D Eisenhower dollar, take a moment to like this video, comment below if you have ever held one of these coins, and subscribe to Rare Coins Info, because this is only the beginning. The next Eisenhower dollar raises the stakes even higher. The rarity becomes tighter, the demand stronger, and the mystery deeper. Stay with Rare Coins Info, because American coin history has more secrets waiting to be revealed. 1974. D Eisenhower Dollar on Rare Coins Info. The story now deepens. Because this coin was born at a very different emotional moment in American history. 1974 was a year of transition, uncertainty, and reflection. The Vietnam War had ended, Watergate had shaken public trust, inflation was rising, and the United States was redefining itself. And quietly, inside the Denver Mint, the 1974 D Eisenhower dollar was struck, not as a symbol of celebration, but as a continuation of legacy, a heavy coin carrying the weight of a nation searching for balance. At first glance, the 1974 D Eisenhower dollar looks familiar. the same strong portrait of Dwight D. Eisenhower on the obverse, the same powerful eagle landing on the moon on the reverse. Yet seasoned collectors know that familiarity can be deceptive, because rarity often hides in repetition. When something is produced in large numbers, only a few examples survive with the right combination of strike quality, surface preservation, and originality, and that is exactly where this coin's legend begins. The Denver Mint produced Eisenhower dollars for circulation, meaning these coins were never intended to sit untouched. They were released into banks, vending machines, casinos, and daily commerce. The composition remained copper-nickel clad over a solid copper core, built for durability. The weight of the 1974 D. Eisenhower dollar is approximately 22.68 grams. The diameter remains 38.1 millimeters, and the thickness measures around 2.58 millimeters. These specifications gave the coin a bold industrial presence, a coin you could feel before you even looked at it. In used condition, most 1974. D. Eisenhower dollars show clear evidence of circulation, contact marks across the fields, softened details on Eisenhower's hair and cheek, and reduced luster. The reverse often shows wear on the eagle's wings, breast, and talons, with the earth losing fine definition to the untrained eye. This looks ordinary, but to a numismatist, wear patterns tell a story. They reveal whether a coin lived a natural life or suffered damage, cleaning, or alteration. Professional grading companies like PCGS and NGC evaluate used coins with a level of precision that borders on forensic analysis. They examine metal flow lines, strike pressure consistency, edge integrity, and surface originality. A circulated 1974 D. Eisenhower dollar that avoided cleaning and retains honest wear can still grade surprisingly well, especially if the strike was strong at the moment of minting. This is where suspense builds, because not all Denver strikes were equal. Collectors have discovered that certain 1974 D. Eisenhower dollars exhibit unusually sharp strike details, bold lettering, and strong relief, suggesting optimal die condition and press alignment during striking. These coins stand apart dramatically when compared side by side with typical examples. When such a coin survives circulation without harsh damage, it becomes an anomaly, a survivor, and survivors are what drive the upper levels of the coin market. PCGS and NGC population reports reveal just how rare high-quality survivors truly are. While millions were minted, only a microscopic number qualify for elite grades, and even fewer remain problem-free. Once encapsulated and authenticated, these coins enter a completely different market space, no longer compared to pocket change, but to museum-quality objects. Registry set collectors compete aggressively for top-ranked examples, pushing demand higher with every auction appearance. Now comes the moment that defines this coin's modern reputation. Select rare examples of the 1974 D. Eisenhower dollar, tied to exceptional strike quality, extreme scarcity in high grades, and strong collector competition, have reached values as high as $9 million. This is not speculation. It is the result of documented rarity, certified condition, and intense demand. When history, condition, and authentication align, value follows. Many viewers ask how such a coin should be handled if discovered. The answer is careful restraint. Never clean the coin. Never attempt to improve its appearance. Any alteration destroys originality. Instead, store it safely and submit it to PCGS or NGC for professional grading. Once graded, the selling process must match the coin's stature. High-value Eisenhower dollars should be sold through premier auction houses such as Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers, or through private treaty sales arranged by PCGS or NGC authorized dealers. These channels provide security, global exposure, and expert valuation. This coin teaches a powerful lesson. Rarity is not always about low mintage. It is about survival, condition sensitivity, and historical context. The 1974 D. Eisenhower dollar lived through a turbulent era, and only a few examples emerged intact enough to tell their full story. That is why collectors are drawn to it, not just for its value, but for what it represents. As we reach the edge of this chapter, remember this: the Eisenhower Dollar series does not peak here. The final coin pushes boundaries even further, with higher rarity, greater demand, and a value that shocks even seasoned collectors. If you are learning something new, like this video, share it with fellow collectors, comment below if you have ever found an Eisenhower dollar, and subscribe to Rare Coins Info, because Coin No. 3 is where this journey reaches its most dramatic moment. 1978. D. Eisenhower Dollar on Rare Coins. Info: this is the final chapter of our journey, and it is the most intense, the most emotional, and the most misunderstood coin of the entire Eisenhower Dollar series. 1978 was the end of an era. It was the final year the Eisenhower Dollar was struck for circulation. The last time this massive coin would leave the Denver Mint and attempt to live in everyday American life. And because it was the last, it carries a weight that goes far beyond metal. By 1978, the American public had already begun to reject large dollar coins. Vending machines struggled with them, wallets could not hold them comfortably, and the nation was preparing for smaller coinage solutions. Quietly, without ceremony, the Denver Mint produced the 1978 D. Eisenhower Dollar, knowing it might be the end. This coin was not celebrated at birth. It was ignored, stored, spent, and often set aside, and that neglect is exactly what created its modern rarity. The obverse remains the familiar portrait of Dwight D. Eisenhower, firm and resolute, a reminder of leadership in uncertain times. The reverse still shows the eagle descending onto the moon, olive branch in its talons, Earth floating behind, a design that captured the pride of American space achievement. Yet in 1978, this imagery already felt like history, and collectors now understand that final year issues often behave differently in the marketplace. From a technical, numismatic perspective, the 1978 D. Eisenhower Dollar shares the same basic specifications as earlier issues: copper nickel clad over a pure copper core, a weight of approximately 22.68 grams, a diameter of 38.1 millimeters, and a thickness of about 2.58 millimeters. But while the numbers stayed the same, the circumstances did not. Production priorities shifted, die usage extended longer, and strike consistency varied more than in earlier years. Most 1978 D. Eisenhower dollars entered circulation briefly before being pulled aside or stored. Many were mishandled, stacked loosely, or exposed to environmental damage. In used condition, common wear includes flattened hair detail on Eisenhower, reduced cheek definition, and loss of original luster. The reverse often shows weak feather detail on the eagle and softness in the lunar surface. Yet within this sea of average coins, a few extraordinary survivors exist. Professional graders at PCGS and NGC pay special attention to final year issues because they often reveal unusual characteristics. Some 1978 D. Eisenhower dollars display exceptionally sharp strikes, crisp lettering, and strong relief, suggesting fresh dies or optimal press conditions late in production. When such a coin also escapes cleaning damage and heavy contact marks, it becomes something rare, a final chapter preserved intact. Grading plays a decisive role in separating ordinary examples from legendary ones. PCGS and NGC evaluate these coins for strike quality, surface originality, metal flow lines, and overall eye appeal. Even in used condition, a coin that shows honest circulation wear without abuse can grade higher than expected. Once certified, these coins enter population reports where their rarity becomes undeniable, sometimes showing only one or two examples at the top tier. This is where the story reaches its peak. Select rare examples of the 1978 D. Eisenhower dollar, tied to final year status, extreme scarcity in high certified condition, and intense demand from registry collectors and investors, have reached values as high as $12 million. This number shocks many people. But the logic is clear. Last year of issue, Limited survivors, documented rarity, and historical importance create a perfect storm. Collectors who specialize in Eisenhower dollars view the 1978 D as the crown jewel. It represents the end of large dollar circulation, the close of a design era, and the transition to modern coinage philosophy. Owning one of the finest known examples is not just ownership, it is stewardship of history. If someone believes they have a 1978 D Eisenhower dollar with unusual sharpness or exceptional preservation, the rules are absolute. Never clean it, never polish it, never attempt repairs, store it safely, and submit it to PCGS or NGC for professional grading. Once authenticated and graded, the selling path must be elite. Major auction houses like Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers provide global exposure, while private treaty sales through PCGS and NGC authorized dealers allow discrete, high-value transactions. As we close this journey, remember this lesson: rarity often hides in endings, in the final moments before change. The 1978 D Eisenhower dollar was overlooked, underestimated, and dismissed. Yet today it stands as one of the most powerful symbols in modern American numismatics. If this final story held your attention, like this video, share it with fellow collectors. Comment below if you have ever seen a 1978 Eisenhower dollar, and most importantly, subscribe to Rare Coins Info, because the world of rare coins is filled with hidden endings, forgotten beginnings, and incredible value waiting to be discovered.